Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party arrived in the capital city of Tabedra, the kingdom of thieves and bandits, and Caleb reunited with their distant family, and on settling back in, is now beginning to investigate the royal family and making plans for a potential coup. In the meantime, also investigating the royal family's potential involvement in his parents' deaths. Was it simply an accident or murder? Meanwhile, Zephyr, wandering off on his own, decided to take a more direct approach and get the information straight from the bandit's mouth. Climbing all the way up his old family castle, made his way into the king's forbidden bedroom, where he reunited with his mother, and discovered that the king has indeed fallen incredibly ill, barely able to recognize his own flesh and blood, and his mother is incredibly worried and trying to determine a way to save her husband. Meanwhile, Tuco, Lucian, and Caleb. I was like, did I say Lucian already? I know there's a fourth. The remaining party members back at the Bear Lodge are investigating a few leads they have on ways to potentially sneak themselves into the castle, as apparently the royal family has become rather reclusive since the ball. Caleb's old flame has been leading a small smuggling ring to get exotic wine and spirits out of the king's home from
Except
under
it's
his
not actually
nose.
wine.
Well, like I said, wine and spirits. And the strange sleeping curse that sweeps through Tabedra and the alcohol that the king has been sitting on and is apparently incredibly valuable all point to one place. Tabedra Farms. And that is where we will pick back up. Zephyr.
I mean,
As your mother is dressing herself, already seeming ready to run out of the room and find the Shadow Lily alchemist that you had directed her to go see. You can see that she's already kind of working herself into a bit of a frenzy, wanting to go, but also worried about, especially with your brother in town, leaving the king alone in his helpless state. And as she turns to you, she presses her fingers together, kind of steepling her hand, and kind of squints, looking you up and down before sighing and signing out to you. I can't leave his side, especially not now.
Didn't we leave off where I showed her I cut myself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, as you show her your infected blood and she surveys it, she squints and barbarous.
As he kind of sighs, he's kind of almost like see his hand like as he cut his hand, but he's kind of like as he tries to sigh. Um, well, I still have some questions I need to ask. Like for starters, the night that I was given to you.
She gives a nod and kind of smirks to herself a little bit. I remember it well. It was winter, deep winter. Nobody was able to travel in or out of the city for a while, except for those who came. The governor from Barbarous and the doctor with the beak mask. They came to us with a baby, you, said that the parents had died in a dwarven work camp, and they had no idea what you were, but that your father's responsibilities to their organization meant that he had to look after you. I didn't know what that meant until now. You're an experiment. You and your brother both. They didn't want to lose somebody they actually cared about if you went crazy, like the monsters at the ball did. She kind of initially reaches for your hand, but you can see her kind of pull back like she's not sure if it's safe to touch it or not.
I guess he'll sort of present his hand, and I guess he'll sign, but he'll sign. I believe touching it is fine, but just try not to get it into you, and you'll become like one of those monsters. But on the other hand of the matter, I would like to know about this. Apparently, I've been hearing stories of a farm in our name.
You can see she actually pauses and looks up to you as she takes your hand, and wearing gloves, runs a thumb over your palm where the ichor bleeds freely and examines the material curiously before pulling her hand away and signing. Where did you hear about that?
Well, for starters, if I don't know if you've been outside much, but there's been these whole incidents about dreams of where people don't wake up, and I had the sort of, I guess you could say, unfortunateness to experience it firsthand.
Her brow kind of furrows and looks to the side. You can see she's never really been an incredibly social. She's graceful and charming, but she never really liked much interacting with anyone who wasn't your father. But after a bit of hesitation, and she kind of runs her fingers over her thumbs over each other, spreading the ichor she touched over her gloves. Well, I suppose you were going to find out eventually. We're not, well, your father isn't nobility. Not really.
I mean, it was something to do with the fact I think you stole this land, right?
She gives a slow nod. Tabedra is my name. He took it in the marriage. Tabedra Farms was where we lived. You weren't even born yet, and your brother would have only been, I think, a toddler at the time. Probably doesn't even remember it. We lived there since we were children, and spent most of our lives there, never seeing the rest of the world. She looks back to the small, pathetic figure on the bed and smiles, like he's the most beautiful thing in the world to her. That was until I met him. He was so charming. I hadn't met anyone like him before. Always such a smooth talker. He told me that the world was bigger than just inheriting my family's property and finding some rich man to marry and expand our power. He said that someone like me deserved to be a queen, and he deserved to be a king. She smiles, and it was around then that your sister was born. Once she was old enough to fend for herself in case something happened to us, we had a legacy. He said it was time. We left the farm behind. My family, his family, everything we'd ever known, and ran away. Took all of our friends with us who were on our side, who knew me and knew him. And we found this place, abandoned after a dragon attack. The Tsar hadn't come back to reclaim it yet, so we struck first. And that's what made us who we are today. King and Queen Tabedra. She smiles at your father. I used to think that all I would ever become was the scion of a small farming family. I would inherit the farm and never work a day in my life and have children until I eventually died. He showed me that there was something else. She sighs and looks back to you. But I found out whenever you came that it was more complicated than that. He was making deals with people outside of the farm. She frowns, and I didn't know who she was until he told me. Queen Wyborn, that woman from the north. She would come to visit the farm periodically and talk to him. The Argosian and the Humor Man were always with her. And they promised him assistance to build his kingdom, to make him a king, and make me a queen. If she hesitates and shakes her head. We did what we had to do.
That's all the information that farm has.
She hesitates slightly before that's the only information that matters. I don't regret what your father did for me. It was for my own good.
Yeah, Zephyr will just kind of like sigh. I was hoping you'd have more useful information, but I guess the history lesson will suffice. But
She gives a smirk, and what we did in that village doesn't affect us. If you leave, you'll be safe. And
I'm not sure if it's from the village or if it's your old dad doing all this himself. Maybe he has some ability to is causing everyone to sleep till they die. But seems something either from the village or something connected to that, causing everyone to have a couple of issues. I prefer not to be weary of just simply going to sleep.
She sighs and leans over the bed to run a hand through your father's hair. Then I suggest you finish whatever your business is here and leave.
I don't think leaving might be an option. Unless this thing is, first off, I don't think the people I'm with would just leave out of just because danger. They're not very smart like that, but also the fact is that I don't know if this thing even has a set range of safeness.
She sighs and closes her eyes as she runs a hand through your father's hair. And do you have any other questions?
Well, not particularly, but I guess I should state that. Well, I think leaving sooner rather than later would be good, because eventually I've seen the process before, and with time it will slowly get to worse and worse until it turns either. What I've seen, either one or two things will happen. You'll either become the creatures from like the ball, or he'll become a whole new person.
She bites her lip, and look, you can see her shaking with visibly and barely restrained fury. I won't let that happen.
But I'm not sure. I can't guarantee your safety if you leave. Well, frankly, I can't guarantee your safety even if you were here, but it would be definitely, you'd most likely be safer if you stayed.
She gives a nod, and her fingers start to kind of jitter and shake as her signing becomes more rapid and nervous. Can you contact this alchemist? Bring him here. I'll pay you whatever you want.
Interesting. I may be able to. I may be able to get at least a hold of him, but can't guarantee that we can convince him to just go over here. It's more of a. He's more of a price for a price. You need to offer up something in order to provide for his service. Usually not in gold.
She shakes her head. I'll give him whatever he wants. I'll kill whoever he wants.
He does tend to like that. But simply see what I guess. I have some people who I know can probably shoot him a message.
And in exchange?
How about the exchange is that if this whole king thing, whoever comes next king comes happen, well, I mean, it could just be temporary, but maybe we could talk about just a temporary situation. But it seems my brother wishes to become next king, or at least enough to deal with this concord.
So I support Caleb becoming the acting regent of Tabedra while your father recovers. And in exchange, you'll put me in contact with someone who can save him.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty reasonable deal. Whole mess will become less bothersome and get out of here much quicker.
Done.
Mm.
She gently taps your father on the shoulder, and he looks up to her. My love. He tilts his head and smiles to her. We can save you, but I need your ring, okay? May I take it? It's always been yours. She smiles and takes his hand and kisses it, and with all the smoothness of a trained pickpocket, slides one of his many rings off of his pudgy little fingers. And embracing him for a long moment, she slides off the bed, approaches you, and holds out a ring. It's small, but you recognize it as a signet ring. The gem is topaz, with the Tabedra symbol of a jack-o'-lantern carved into it, and the carvation gives it a lighter orange than the deep topaz orange, making it visible and almost gleaming. You recall from what you were taught that the Tibedrans use the jack-o'-lantern based on the stories of Jack-o'-lantern, a spirit of greed and selfishness that nonetheless survives even when he doesn't want to. Something that the king always sympathized with, and let him put a new spin on what you now know to be rather humble origins as the ignoble son of a farmer. She deposits the ring into your infected hand. Give this to your brother. The acting regent is the only one who's allowed to have it. It'll give his claim legitimacy.
It was. Well, better circumstances could have happened. It was nice seeing you again, and it also, I hope. Well, not really sure about that, but I hope this all goes well.
She looks to you with a kind of unreadable expression. Your brother and sisters aren't going to be happy about this. They told me not to take a side.
Mm.
They won't hurt me. They couldn't if they tried. And I'll cut them down if they try to hurt your father. But I can't be everywhere at once. You'll be in danger the moment your brother stakes his claim. Your sister is under the impression that he's supporting her rise to the throne, but nothing more.
Well, what my brother does really is up to him, but one thing he is not is defenseless, so I don't believe they really have much claim to try to harm him.
She gives a slow nod and kind of pauses for a moment. I do find myself curious. Personally, I agree with you. I don't care who's on the throne. I never
Mm-hmm.
did. I never wanted children. I never wanted money. I just wanted him. But the military Our military likes you. They always supported that you were the true prince. You were the only one who hasn't earned their ire. If you wished, you could lead a military coup and take the throne for yourself. Why don't you? If it's riches you're after, being the king would give you single access to the entire treasury. Why are you helping him?
The first sort of just laughs at this. Access to the throne, frankly, well, I mean, I guess you could say unlimited access to the throne doesn't seem that hard to achieve. Just a sneak here and a pick here would be seem as simple as that. But ruling over a kingdom doesn't interest me. I see no. I have other goals in mind, and having a kingdom would just slow me down.
She smiles. You always were one of the few of your siblings who could keep up with me.
Hmm. Well,
She kneels before you and opens her arms. It's a little awkward, but it does seem sincere to allow you to hug her if you wish.
yeah. I guess he's going to very awkwardly, like, kind of like do like a pat, like give him a little hug, a little pat, a little quick pat in the back, like, and
Which
then
she returns with the exact same level of awkwardness.
like, yeah, okay.
She kind of wiggles out of your grip just as quickly as you wiggle out of hers, and she, looking a little awkward, but nods to you and signs. It's good to see you as well. You're one of the few I missed. She nods towards the broken window. You can leave the same way you came in. I doubt anyone will see you. Not if you don't want to be seen. And, son,
Yes.
she sighs, and I won't lie to you. I didn't want most of these children. Your father was always more concerned about what we would leave behind. But you were a pleasant addition to the house. And if you or your brother betray the trust I'm putting in you against all my better judgment to save your father, I will kill both of you and not lose any sleep.
I look towards the king and look back to her. And I would expect nothing less. But, well, I don't think our brother really, as long as he could do it peacefully, I don't think he really has any claim to go after the king. But ones I'm
And what
worried about are the others.
I don't imagine you would judge me if I were to, in defense of your father, let blood flow through this castle. If you had asked me, I would have gone down into the dungeons and murdered your sister here and now, if it would save your father's life.
Mm. Zephyr sort of thinks about this for a moment. No, I'm leaving the plans up to him. what he decides to do next after this is his game. See what he's capable of.
I'll make sure word spreads. Queen Tabedra has nominated Caleb Tabedra as the heir to the throne in lieu of the king's ill health. You and your brother are on your own. How your siblings feel about that? I will defend your father. You two will defend yourselves.
Sounds like a plan. Guess Zephyr will start proceeding towards the window.
She kind of hesitates a little bit as you start making your way to the window and scale up the walls like a gecko. But as you take one last look at her, and she kind of stares at you as you go, you can see her eyes flick to the pocket or bag where you put the ring, and it may not mean much coming from me, but I love you. As much as I can love anyone.
Who isn't him?
What I feel for him is different than love. He's my world.
Well, I'd probably deny it if you said anything, but, well, I didn't really care much about this family and all that. I did find myself enjoying myself the most with you.
She, at this, actually gives you a smile, and seeming to kind of catch herself, almost like she realized she was having feelings, she kind of adjusts her travel coat a little uncomfortably and turns to start taking off her travel garb. You notice she takes off the gloves that have the ichor on them and just throws them in the bucket that the king's been vomiting into. She has her back to you for a moment and seems like she's hesitating to say anything more, but finally she just gives you a nod and you and your brother be safe.
I'll just sort of give a nod and proceed out the window.
All right. Zephyr, do you have any other errands you wish to run, or do you wish to focus on, or I guess rather, yeah, like, do you want to return to uh, the party, or do you have a specific uh, other errand you wish to run?
Well, I was thinking I wanted to go to the treasury, but I know that that's not a good thing to do just. I wanted to do that for a while, but I was like, man, if they notice something missing, then we're probably gonna get caught. But I was like, but nah, he'll go back to the tavern.
Okay. With the Tabedran signet ring and Caleb declared as the heir apparent, you leave your mother and ailing father behind. And as you start slinking down, you feel a slight tug on your tail and see your mother lightly holding on to it, but she lets go as soon as she sees she has your attention. And she looks a little hesitant at first, but finally steels herself. It seems like she finally committed to just saying what she wanted to say before you left and signs out a final. Whoever it is you're doing all this for, I hope they deserve you.
is he'll kind of like sit there and think about it, and he'll sign back. I hope I deserve them.
Her expression is unreadable, but she gives you a kind smile, which you don't see it often from her, but it's something you learn to appreciate the rare few glimpses of. The part of her that, for all that oiled, rotten Scion, who was ascended into true nobility by your equally disgusting father, the part of her that does genuinely feel something at least resembling a motherly affection for you. And she slides back into the room, and you can hear your king kind of chattering aimlessly, and from the sounds of it, seems a little confused as to where his ring has wandered off to. And while you can't hear her, you can imagine she's just reassuring him.
Yeah, and I guess back to the tavern I go.
Okay. Lucian, Caleb, and Tuco. I believe when we left off, you said that you would probably be starting to recover from your hangover and heading downstairs around this point.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll let you know whenever you come downstairs. For now, Tuco and Lucian, the two of you, when we left off, were sampling the exotic Tabedra Farms cider, and Caleb, you were chatting up your old flame. And it's around this point that Dimitri kind of taps his fingers against the bar and, well, I suppose I should let everyone know that we have a little bit of an operation to plan. It'll be a bit soon to get back into the castle, but I don't know how long we can afford to wait.
Yeah, you never know with these kinds of things what crazy shit could happen.
Ain't that some shit?
And I need to apparently talk to Stanley about some things.
He gives a nod.
Maybe,
And
if possible, possibly with a white flag of peace, need to talk to maybe the king or queen, whoever I can.
I would certainly like to talk to them, because Tuka and I could take a look at the king. I mean, we have been studying this.
Feeling that the queen will
Ichor.
not let you within 10 feet of him.
Well, I mean, we have been studying the Ichor, so maybe she will.
Yeah, but let's be honest. How much do you really understand? You know, considering your last experiment.
It was an experiment. That's all that matters. Yes, we don't know a whole lot about it, but we know a whole lot more than we did before.
Look, unless you have a cure right now, she's probably not going to let you anywhere near him.
But we know about the
Crazy
cure.
about him.
Well, I still think we should do animal trials before we worry about human trials. Or people trials, as is.
But it was good meeting all of you. I'll be back in a day or two and let you know whenever the gang's ready to make another run for the cellar. And I suppose I'll have to send a message to Stanley to let him know we're coming. Should I tell him you're in town, Caleb, or let that be a surprise?
Keep it a surprise for now.
Does any of your family like you?
I think Summer kind of likes me.
Summer is Summer. She likes everyone, I think.
But she might not like me as much if I go forward with my backup plan.
What's that?
If I can't figure out how to achieve my goals without it, I'm going to have to probably take over myself.
I don't think that she would have a problem with it, to be honest with you.
Well,
Last time
I kind of promised her that I would have supported her claim instead.
Well, why not do a co-regency? You rule and she rules.
Yeah, that actually sounds good.
I don't think she'd buy that.
She might, you could ask.
I'd certainly like to keep her around, but I don't think she would be for that. She's kind of serious about it being the actual only blood relative.
Yeah, but okay, Matthew, remind me, last time I spoke with her, I distinctly remember her not really wanting the throne.
If that is what
Am I
you recall,
remembering that right?
you can roll history to see if you
Yeah,
remember it differently.
Yeah. I would like to do that. Come on, Lucian, don't. Come on, D&D Beyond. Okay, it's not bad. I don't know. I think I have a +8, right? D&D Beyond is just being a dick right now. Yeah, I have a +8. So, no, I got it. 22.
Yes, you recall that she was not, while she expected that she would inherit it, she was more seemingly doing it out of a sense of obligation rather than actually any real passion for being the Queen of Thieves.
So I will tell Caleb, well, when I spoke to her, she didn't really give me the impression that she actually, wanted the position. I think she felt maybe obligated. So maybe you're just doing her a favor and she would support you.
Didn't she... how exactly did she put the conversation with Caleb? Do I need to roll history for that?
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta roll history, because apparently you can't remember your own.
Dirty 20.
I mean, if they could remember it, then they wouldn't need to ask me, would they?
To be fair, to remember the exact wording of a conversation, I also kind of have to think about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like...
I wrote it down, I just
history for your own fucking story. What the hell?
I've done
I
that
got
before.
a dirty 20.
She approached you and had told you that the king was already starting to go a little gray, and she expected that within her lifetime and sometime soon he would likely just die of old age. And with that in mind, she basically just wanted to make sure her path to the throne was secure, hence her asking for your support, as she doubted Zephyr would support her. And she knew that your brother Laup would already had his own eyes on the throne, and seeing as she's the blood relative of your father, she thought it was more appropriate that she take charge.
That makes it seem like she did want it.
Very true.
The way she said it to me was that she's the natural one to take it, and she was going to take it.
I mean...
So she wasn't just performing for you?
Yeah, she could have definitely been performing for you.
Could I do it? Is it possible to do a retroactive insight?
You know what? That's interesting. It'll be a disadvantage, but I will allow it.
Can I use a lucky point?
Sure.
Because that would get rid of the disadvantage, right?
Yeah, by all means.
So that would make it a flat roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Not great. 13.
It's hard to say. Your sister was always very good at figuring out what to say to whom. It's possible that she could have been lying to either of you, and you have no way of knowing which. Clearly, she was either lying to one of you, or something changed. Either way, there's no real way of knowing without talking to her.
Yeah, it looks like we need to seek her out then.
Yeah. Again, she liked me, so I could talk to her pretty easily. As long as I can get in without being grabbed by a guard.
Well, well, the generals aren't exactly fond of you. From what I hear, other than the new princess, you're not exactly forbidden from the castle grounds. More of one of those, if they find you, you have to be brought to the queen sort of thing, which honestly just might make your job easier. They're not going to execute an heir to the throne on the spot for the murder of a general. They'll just want to interrogate you.
Then why can't we just walk in? Like, just walk in the front door?
Element of surprise?
I mean, I guess, but like, if they're
Well,
just
she
gonna
might
take
be
them to the
exposed.
queen anyway.
You know, the new princess might expect that and might have some kind of plan waiting for me if I try
Everybody's
that.
a sneaky fuck in this kingdom. I don't think being snuck up on is going to exactly be a walk in the park.
Anybody seen Zephyr, by the way?
Yeah. Do I notice that Zephyr's been gone?
Yeah, you guys saw him leave hours ago.
Yeah, I saw him leave, but who knows what he's
We
up
should wait
to.
and see
He's
what Zephyr comes back with. He might have found something. But odds it won't cost us anything to ask.
yeah.
All right. I'll say around this point, you begin to recover from your the unfortunate consequences of your actions, and Zephyr, you begin closing in on the Bear's Lodge, and as you guys
Dimitri
are,
tried to leave yet?
yeah, he's getting ready to. He's just
Okay.
say,
Caleb is going to grab onto his arm, but like, don't leave. It's been so.
He kind of hesitates, but kind of gives you a grin, and you're not going to disappear if I let you out of my sight, are you?
It's been so long. I got my old room here back. You could stay with me. We used to do it all the time, sleepovers.
Well, in that case, I'll be coming right back. I just need to let the gang know you're back in town, and need to make sure the word gets to Stanley that he can expect another visit.
Maybe we can get the old gang back together here so I can, tell them I'm back myself.
He kind of hesitates, but after a bit, all right, I'll just have them come with me then. But I still need to leave to do that. I'll be coming right back, so you don't go anywhere. And
There is one more thing you're forgetting.
Yes?
I would give you a look, but I know you wouldn't see it. I need a kiss.
I think you're.
Oh.
And no, he's just very quiet. He kind of smirks a little bit, and I didn't forget. And he grabs you by the collar and pulls you in, and kisses you. Just waiting for the right moment.
I'm gonna drink more.
Well, Miezdu, you mind if I crash here for a day or two? Miezdu kind of grumbles a little bit. You can tell it's starting to get a little bit on his nerves that people just keep coming in here and crashing in his bar. But whether Dimitri knows what how he's feeling or not, he just gives a bright smile, and I knew you'd understand. See you in a bit, girls. The twins from their opposite ends of the bar. Bye-bye, Dimitri. And Dimitri slips out of the bar. Zephyr, at this point, you're entering from the. I'm guessing you're just going in through the front, unless you want to be extra about it and slink in through the back. And you're coming downstairs, recovering from your hangover.
That
Oh,
seems
look
like.
at the crab dog then.
Why would I come to the back? I clearly come to the window.
Do you want to?
No, I'm good.
No, come down the chimney. Be a chap.
That reminded me of this crab story of this guy who had a character that always had to climb up a fucking wall to do.
Oh yeah, that's a
Kitty
classic.
wall.
I'll
Alright.
go through the front door as long as.
All right. Zephyr, you make your way into the front door. What's you make your way downstairs, and the party regroups at Miezdu's bar.
Hey Zephyr, where you been?
Places.
Oh,
Did
cryptic
you
as
learn anything?
always.
Mm. Well, you never gave me us a plan, so I sort of. I guess you could say I sort of, did some work on myself.
Fine.
Are you gonna just continue being vague, or are you just gonna tell us?
Well, that depends. What you're gonna do next.
That depends on what Caleb wants to do. We're only here for him.
True.
Alright, Zephyr, how much you want?
Alright. I have no interest in that. Just, do you have a plan?
Well, I was planning on trying to learn a bit more information. Old friend of mine has a way into the castle, and I was going to talk to a Stanley. He apparently seems to know a lot involving a lot of things.
Caleb, he's definitely more than a friend.
Look, I'm not trying to explain details here, okay? I'm just giving a short version.
Leave him be, leave him be.
I just like to give him shit. That's all.
Either way.
Yeah, you'd like to give everybody shit. It's kind of one of your problems.
She just kind of like narrows her eyes.
Oh wait,
Now
no,
we
I
get a
mean,
chuckle.
you're always
That'd get-
starting shit.
Now we get a chuckle from Tuco.
He's not wrong, but, I mean, as far as information, mostly what we already know, I've kind of gathered, Dad is sick.
Did you go see him?
Yeah, in a way, I saw him. He apparently doesn't recognize anyone except for Mom or I guess our original sister.
I'm assuming that the queen is spending a lot of time by his side. I figured.
Yes.
I have a lot of suspicions. Does he have the ichor?
I mean, he was coughing, black blood, so I assume so. But, I will say with that knowledge, I would really recommend not going, well, for now, not going near him.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, I mean, for your safety, mostly, but because...
Yeah,
Since when did you care about
the
our
queen's
safety,
pretty good
Zephyr?
fighter.
Well, less that I care about your safety, more that you starting something is just going to complicate things way more. First off, even if you do attack him, he'll turn into a beast, and then that's just going to be a whole thing. Secondly,
He might turn into a beast regardless.
but as I was about to say, secondly, even if you did want to attack him, you will get attacked yourself by just the queen. And she's probably much more higher force to be reckoned with.
I've heard of her.
Yeah.
She's one of the greatest assassins in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could.
Lucian's.
Yeah, Lucian. She could, if she wanted to, she could probably kill your girlfriend, and she wouldn't even know it hit her.
Yeah. Essentially, I wouldn't get on her bad side, and so I wouldn't.
So what do you suggest? Because, I mean, obviously, this needs to be taken care of before it spreads.
Well, I was thinking an idea myself more on those lines. So.
I'm listening.
Well, we know someone who knows how to cure him. So. Simply put, let's get him to do it.
Yeah, the queen would give anything, probably.
Yes.
Did that
told her.
Ram guy?
Yes.
Yeah,
guy-
the alchemist guy in Shuttle.
Essentially, I may have also made a deal with Mother about getting in contact with the alchemist and asking him to go ahead and see about getting him. So if you could, do
I could
your
message him. Yeah,
Yes.
I could do that for you. Yes.
I guess that would be that would save time. Message
Of course
him,
you-
tell him that we have a deal to do the procedure. Maybe, who knows? If he lets you see the procedure, maybe you can get a better glimpse on the steps of curing it yourself.
From the sounds of it, we
This
still
actually-
need that metal.
This actually, yeah, no, like this actually gets Lucian's attention.
I figured it would.
Not a bad idea.
But
Bedford's good at plans.
well,
Is everybody else okay with this plan?
Hold on,
guess
hold
so.
on.
What did you
So
trade?
are we going to the castle?
well, more or less. That was the
I
trade.
thought we just
on my
said we
side.
weren't going.
Well, that's that. I don't know if y'all want to do that, but I guess Zephyr will reach into his little pocket where he put the ring and take it out, and he'll kind of like almost like putting his hand towards Caleb, like, well, I got Mother's. I guess you could say I got Mother's side on who the king is gonna be.
Oh,
Caleb will
Yeah.
take the ring, and I'm assuming he recognizes it.
Your king, your father, never took that ring off. He's worn it since you've known him. The topaz gem with the visage of Jack-o'-lantern carved into it. And he always told you growing up when you would ask about it that he would only ever part with the ring to pass it on to whoever was to be the heir to his throne.
Caleb just like holds it up, like kind of looking at it, and he's gonna look to his uncle. Is this what I think it is?
Well, I saw Mother take it off of him, so I assume it is.
are you gonna be king?
Are you leaving us, Caleb?
This is unexpected. Do you know what this means?
You're leaving us.
I mean,
Well,
you.
depending on the situation.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
I
sing
mean-
it. Don't sing it yet.
Well, I mean, as far as
There's still a lot that needs. There's still a lot that would have to happen.
yes, this more or less gives you legitimacy, I guess it seems. But as far as that goes, the rest is up to you. I'm leaving this in your hands since this is your plan. But yes, so Lucian, you could try to contact him, try to convince him, say, hey, we have a deal.
On one condition.
Okay, what?
You say please. I'm gonna send a message to the alchemist.
Okay.
Is
Good enough.
By the way,
It's
is
good
his
enough.
uncle still in there?
Yeah, he's just watching the interaction. You can see he has his eyes on the ring.
Do you realize what this means?
I'm about to get a very large loan for my bar.
Well, certainly a big step towards it.
Hmm.
You'll keep this to yourself, yeah?
He kind of pauses in consideration and
You wouldn't
eventually,
betray your little nephew, would you?
what do you take me for?
Well,
I stand to gain nothing.
I guess our location technically.
I
isn't-
honest to God, I thought he was gonna be like, "What do you take me for? I'm going to betray you.
yeah. But, well, I guess
We're Tabedrans."
technically our location isn't necessarily compromised, but it was agreed upon that Mother would give her nomination to you.
So
No.
she's abdicating the throne.
Not
Well, she never
Not
cared about the
necessarily.
throne.
well, yes, but basically she's going to announce that I have this, which is going to probably piss off anybody who has a claim to this throne.
But we tell her to
Anyone who
hold off
just-
on that.
And also piss off everybody who doesn't like the idea of me having it, and
Most likely
anybody
does.
who has something to gain by opposing me.
Yeah, most likely, you know, brothers, sisters, and I guess new sister.
Ah, you're just making enemies everywhere.
Well, don't worry, I want to take care of your new sister.
I mean, she was already a problem without this, but she's probably going to become even more of a problem now.
Yeah,
Got a
but she's
problem
my
with these
boss
Summer is
still.
pretty good at poisoning stuff, so if she offers you something to eat, maybe best not to take it.
She wishes she could poison me.
So yeah,
What is the oldest brother good at again?
You recall that he was very skilled in magic.
Yeah, Laup. Loop. Lip. How do you say it, Matthew?
Laup. Laup
Laup.
Tabedra.
And Laup's
We can
pretty
tell
good at
that you
magic.
like him. We can tell that you valued his character.
Paul, yeah, reverse Paul.
So yeah,
Technically,
one-
Paul is reverse Laup.
Yeah, no, technically I'm the mirror.
when the conversation dies down, I'll go ahead and send a message to the alchemist.
Okay. What do
Just
you
tell
tell?
him that the queen wants to make a deal.
Yeah. So I will say, I have a message from Sumer Tabedra. He says that there is a deal for you waiting here in Tabedra.
The queen?
The queen is interested in making a deal with you to save her husband. And we all think that you could gain lots from it. And it's all I'll say.
There's a brief pause before you get a response. Now that is interesting. Give me a few days and I'll be there. I'm sure I can get leave from the president to travel for a bit while our allies to the north keep Barbarous at bay.
That's all. Is that all he says?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at Zephyr. He'll be here in a few days. So we have some time to plan.
So, how many assassins are we gonna have to worry about who's gonna try and slit your throats in the night?
Yeah,
These three.
should we
That's assuming they
take
don't
turns?
hire any others.
Yeah, I think that if you're up to it, Westes, you and I could alternatively take turns watching over him.
Hey! It was a
I guess. Well then, I guess you two are officially deputized.
Does that make me the doctor?
Yes, if
Nah,
something
but,
happens, I trust you to not let me die.
Hey, Caleb, it looks like we're now roommates.
Well,
Don't worry, I won't get in the way of your boyfriend.
Are you trying to imply something?
leave him alone.
Caleb, you feel a set of elbows on both of your shoulders, and your cousins lay their heads on yours, and grinning ear to ear. And what about us? Surely you won't forget about the family who took good care of you to get you all the way to the throne, Your Majesty.
Didn't I already tell you you'll have something to gain if everything works out?
Well, yes, but that was before we thought you weren't going to die.
Yeah, true.
Well, That doesn't change my statement, just changes your belief of it. And also, by the way, Caleb's gonna make sure he's holding that thing pretty well because he knows him.
Yeah. They give you a wide grin, but with Fenya kind of tousling your hair, they slink away to leave you be, and you can see them kind of mumble to each other excitedly as they go back to their positions as bouncers.
I'm actually gonna get up and I'm gonna go to them. So just come back to me.
All right. At this point, it is, I'd say, like, kind of mid to late afternoon. And Caleb, you may add a signet ring to your inventory. This ring will indicate to any who see it that you are heir apparent.
Is that an item in game? Signet ring?
Yes. Or it should be, anyway. I know it comes...
How do you spell that?
S-I-G-N-E-T. I know it comes with a few backgrounds, so it should be an item. And yes, if you show this ring to any who know its meaning, they will see you as the heir apparent to the Tabedran throne. You are now the Prince of Thieves.
Or the king of...
Yeehaw!
Well, not quite yet.
Hey, first you gotta get to the throne first.
King's not dead yet.
But you're already... You were always a prince, just now... You have rule. Rule over people now.
So I think Caleb would definitely want to see the Queen's announcement. Just to get an idea for how the reaction is.
And while all this is happening, I'm gonna eat a candy.
Roll a D100.
It's been a
Let's
while.
Gil just die right now.
Yeah, like, you guys are all like, oh, this is dope, like, like, Caleb gets to be king, and like, oh, we gotta worry about assassins, though, and then What's-His just dies.
It's like, technically, if he does become king, he could still...
It's okay. It's okay. If he dies, I do have Revivify prepared, so it's fine.
If you can.
Yeah, it's like,
if I can. I have the...
No. There are spells that, like... There are spells that just... It doesn't matter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, it's... I was gonna say,
But
like, if Caleb does become king, he technically could still work with the party. He'd just have to appoint someone to hold down the fort while he was away.
Yeah, kings do that all the time, especially in this time period.
Yeah, it was a 2.
Oh.
No, it's just a pebble.
You celebrate, pull a small gray candy out of your bag, bite it, and you immediately wince as you bite into a rock.
Just a pebble.
Yeah, what a earthy taste it has.
Wow. Still on that?
You're such an idiot.
I'm not even gonna touch that.
Zephyr, do you agree with me? He's an idiot.
Most of them are. But,
Am I an idiot?
you have your moments, but, you're less idiots than the elves, at least.
Wow.
I completely disagree. I do not.
That's the closest thing to a compliment you can get out of Zephyr.
But, do you have any plans of any...
Well, I'm currently waiting on someone who's going to be important for my next stage of plan. And this, honestly, will only help get the information I will need forward. And he's probably going to freak out when he sees this. Wait, he can't see it.
That's fucked.
Well... guess I should probably mention. I was told something about the farm. Not much, well, mostly just background stories about it of like, what we used. But
What did you learn?
well, by the sounds of it, our father was making deals to obtain power, like
Did he make a deal with
probably the people we're dealing with,
the Concord?
most likely. I mean,
Could
Oh.
complicate things.
They seem like perfectly pleasant people.
otherwise, being told the farm is mostly just a place they used to live, besides the deals.
So no underground anything?
As far as the Queen's understanding, no.
Ah, that's a surprise. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's hop to it.
I'm waiting for him to get back.
Guess we're waiting.
Oh, you did tell your boyfriend that, didn't you? Ah, young love.
He does have the way to get in if we need it, but we might not. I don't even know if we need it. Huh,
Yeah,
we
but he's
have to
been
think about
alive as long as me. Love. Well, you learn to cherish it when you can.
Honestly, with what I've
What are
seen
you
of your track
cherishing?
record, I don't think you've ever actually loved someone.
Yeah.
Not yet. That's why I said when you're my age, you take it when you can.
You cherish it when you're at my age. You cherish it. Just flaunts at any girl.
Ah, man. Big payouts. Lots of sugar babies.
Hey, he could. He's rich enough. He could.
Like
Hell
Gil, I
yeah.
don't... Fuck, not Gil. What's his? I would be willing to wager that any woman you have been with was paid to be there.
Not true.
If he paid enough, she'd even emote like she was enjoying it.
Lucian's just cackling.
You
There
have
was one.
experience with it.
I may have left her at the altar, but that's besides the point.
Oh!
What?
Oh, you're scum, mate. That's scum.
Wow, that's
Oh, what the fuck?
What? It was an arranged marriage.
But I guess if it was
Oh,
arranged,
that's funny.
Well, I wasn't going to marry someone I didn't want to actually live with for the rest of my life.
He works, you
Is that why
dumbass.
you-
And that's how you get
hates you.
poisoned. If they didn't like me, that is.
Well, I mean, that's gonna happen one way or another.
So, how many more kitties can I eat?
It's really
This is
tempting
not a
fate.
bar, right?
Yeah, how, like until
Oh,
like
man.
until Dimitri
Gil-
gets
Gil
back. Is
cracks
that what
me
he's
up.
asking?
I love him. He's funny.
Like, at least nothing bad with the candies has happened yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yet.
that's the thing.
What's that? What's his?
Well, nothing bad has happened with these candies yet. At least to me.
Yet.
Yet.
How's Caro
Uh,
doing?
What's that?
How's
How's
Carol?
Caro doing?
Caro is just kind of taking in the situation and just like, uh-huh.
It's like a screensaver.
Yeah, basically, whenever it hits a corner.
I swear that. I can't wait for the day when someone plays like a frog character, but they're actually the most intelligent person in the room, but they still act like a dweeb to get by.
I mean, Caro is pretty smart. They're just like,
This is not what I'm good at. I'm going to let them deal with it.
Basically, yeah.
Whenever they want the bug eaten or they need help getting around, I'm here.
An animal, right? But borrow one of mine.
Guess Caleb will just wait until Dimitri returns.
Yeah,
Okey-dokey.
I'll say at this
Waiting
time
for-
that Lucian will walk over to the twins.
I will say that Caleb will back the ring, see if there's something interesting on it, like a description.
Make an investigation check. And
Investigation.
Many of those candies do you have?
I think he's unlimited.
yeah, technically he can just keep eating them, but it's made up for by the risk of just straight up dying.
13.
How did he even get that?
I think he bought it. Yeah, he bought it from a drug dealer.
Who created it?
Yeah, I bought it and eat it.
And he
Why
bought-
did they throw pebbles into it?
Just to fuck with you.
I mean,
Yeah.
by the sounds of it, they made the bag itself, which creates beans.
Yeah, it basically creates candy, and the things like the death or rocks are basically just a malfunction. Think of it as like a little handheld candy generator, but it occasionally screws up and poisons you.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, like
also,
it
I got a
starts
13
with
on
a
investigation.
bag, but they put the candy in it, and it just regenerates the candy that's in it.
That's incredible.
Matthew.
And yeah, sorry, I was letting the conversation die down. Caleb, looking over the ring, you initially don't find too much of note. However, a couple noteworthy things is, first, you notice that the carving on the gem, at first you thought of it as, yeah, it's like the sign of nobility, so to speak, but maybe it's Zephyr's story kind of coloring your perspective a little bit, but you notice that the carving of it is a little bit sloppy, and almost seems like it more damaged the gem than it actually was a well thought out intricate design. You suspect that the value of this ring is actually not incredibly high outside of its connotations with nobility. You also notice a small little button on the underside of the ring.
It's just a Halloween plastic ring you get in like it's like a little.
No,
spider ring.
no, that's legitimately like the vibe. It feels like just a little cheap plasticine ring, because the king spared every expense on anything that didn't directly concern him. If it can just be passingly fancy, he was willing to take that if it was cheaper.
Is it an actual gem?
It does appear to be an actual gem, but you know Zephyr's a better jeweler than you, so he would have a better eye for this. But you're not positive if it's like a valuable gem or not, or even if it's a gem period. But you can definitely tell at a glance that the carving of the jack-o'-lantern symbol damaged it, and to a person who doesn't care about its noble connotations, likely decreased the value.
So can Caleb try pushing the button?
Caleb, you hit the button out of curiosity, and a small hooked blade pops out of the front. Very, very small, not really useful as a weapon. But it does look like it may have some usage, for maybe cutting out of ropes or something. To an untrained eye, you would imagine that's likely what it's for. However, I will say, as a trained assassin, you would know that this type of ring is used in the event that an assassin is captured to poison themselves.
Oh, interesting. Does pushing the button retract the blade again, or does he have to
Indeed, as you hit the button again, it retracts, and if you didn't know any better, you would say that it's not even present.
I would say, yeah, that Jacob would be kind of interested in just noticing the ring. Oh man. I didn't
You
know
could
any
also be
better.
good at poisoning someone if you want to poison them.
That's for true. Interesting, though, that that's the way they chose to do it.
Yeah, heck of a punch.
Yeah, he kind of like pats his pockets. Me, if I'm caught, I'm going out. I'm going out big.
I guess you could say with this ring, someone might have a hell of a right hook.
That's good.
Yeah, other than that,
Curious.
Caleb would just be waiting.
Okay. Does anyone have anything urgent they want to cover before we
I still did want to
Yes, yeah, you wanted to talk to the twins. Anyone else? Okay.
Yeah, not that I know of.
Lucian, as Caleb and Tuco look over the royal signet ring, and Zephyr and What's-Is just busy themselves, you head over to the door where the twins, in their actual work, aren't typically physically together. You can see that Fenka is by the back door and Fenya is by the front door, if you have any preference on which one you talk to.
No. What I guess I'll do, is I'll talk to one twin and then I'll go and talk to the other twin.
Okay. In that case, I'll say you can approach Fenya first, who's working the front door. She has her arms crossed and is just looking over the crowd of people in the bar. You know, you've picked up that she works as her father's bouncer, but as she sees you approaching, she smirks a little bit. What's up?
Can I talk to you for a minute?
She gives a bit of a shrug and, sure. None of the people who start fights are here yet, so do you need something?
Just your opinion? You see,
She kind of tugs at her hair curiously.
My brother, my twin brother, is in some trouble, and I don't know what to do about it. It's like he's trapped in a situation, and I feel helpless, because if he leaves, bad things could happen. So if it was you, if it was your twin, what would you do?
She kind of actually seems thoughtful at this, and you can hear her kind of mumble to herself, shit. And she kind of looks over your shoulder to the back door where you know Finka to be working, watching over the alleyway. Let me ask you this. Between you and your brother, who's the oldest?
Me, by 3 minutes.
Well, in that case, your parents decided what you have to do for you. Find him and bail him out of whatever trouble he's in.
That's what I'm trying to do. But it feels like, you know, when you're like in a boat and it begins to fill with water and you try to your best to get the water out, but water just keeps on coming. It feels like that.
Yeah, I do know what that's like.
Scared for him. I'm afraid that he's gotten himself in deeper shit than he's admitting to.
People always ask me how I can handle living with Fenka. If I ever resent her or don't get along with her, and sure, we have our disagreements, but I'm the oldest, and that means I have to look after her. I have to look after our family. That's why I wanted to leave at first. If you're the oldest, and I don't know what the situation is with your family, but if you're the oldest, that means it's your job to look after him, to take care of him. It doesn't matter what trouble he's in, whether it's his fault or not. You do your job.
She gives a nod. So it's been that way ever since we were little. I love my job, if you understand. I love my brother more than almost anything in this world.
Then you already know what you have to do. You don't need my advice.
Don't know what's gonna happen. He's with this very bad person. And he says that he loves him. But I don't know if this man is manipulating him and making him believe things that aren't real because he's vulnerable.
She kind of runs a hand through her hair, seeming like she's kind of processing, like, oh, Jesus, kind of mentality. But she gives it some thought and shakes her head. You're getting lost in the weeds. What trouble he's in doesn't matter. Whether it's his fault or not, whether this person is manipulating him or not, none of that matters. What matters is that he's family, and you're the oldest, so your job is to take care of him.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that he's going to hate me if I kill this man, because I hate this man. I hate him more than anything.
He almost certainly will. He's young, he doesn't understand. But you do what you have to do. Because you may hate this person, and he may end up hating you if you do what you must. But you're going to hate yourself more if you stand by and do nothing because you were overthinking it.
He visibly, swallows some saliva and just shakes her head, like in the affirmative. Deeply sighs. I promised my friends that I would help them. Kara's just been through so much, and I'm afraid that the more time I spend with these people, and the more time I'm away from him, the deeper he is going to get. The more water is going to fill the boat.
If the boat sinks, that's when you learn to swim. I had to learn. When you share blood with somebody, you're all in the same boat, whether you like it or not. That's what it was like after my aunt and uncle died. Dad shut down. Caleb shut down. Fenka shut down. I had to take care of everyone. Because I'm the oldest. That's my job. You have responsibilities.
You're right. I have a way to get to him, but I'm not strong enough yet.
Then get stronger.
She kind of just takes this very deep, shuddering sigh. I just want things to be how they were. Before all of this bullshit, before I died, before he made that deal.
She kind of stares at you with her arms crossed and leans back against the door frame, and you can't control him or what happens. If I could go back and save my aunt and uncle to keep the family together, I would, but I can't. I don't have magic. I was trained by my uncle how to fight, but that's about it.
What if I could? I mean, my family is quite known for that type of magic. What if I could?
That's your decision to make. I'm not going to make that decision for your family. But
if it's for you.
I do it in a heartbeat. Caleb's never been the same since he lost his family. None of us have. He lost his parents, but we lost family too. All of us did. Everyone. That's why Dad's trying to tell him not to look into it. He's young, he doesn't understand. Sometimes shit happens and you can't control it. It's nobody's fault. And if it is somebody's fault, they're not doing it to spite you, they're just doing it because life sucks.
Just, he was alone for so long. Because I died, our entire family died, and he was alone. I wasn't there to be there with him, to be there for him. And when I was a beast, I was a monster, and I hurt him.
She grips your shoulders and kind of shakes you, and you become kind of uncomfortably aware of the fact that with a mere flick of her finger, she could plunge her blades into your shoulders, but she shakes you to get your attention and focus.
I'll look her in the eyes.
You have one job in this world. You have a brother to look after. It doesn't matter what you have to do, who you have to do it to. You do what you have to do to keep your family together. So stop thinking and start acting.
This actually, like, her pupils become, like, pinpricked. All I've ever done was think.
And you said it yourself, it got him into trouble. Thinkers don't last long in this world. It's doers, actors, who survive.
How do I do it? I don't know how.
She glances to the bar where your companions sit, and
I follow her gaze.
You have a trained killer on your side. He was trained by the best on how to kill people. If you need someone dead, ask him. If you need someone brought back to life, learn how to do it. You want to save your brother, then stop figuring out what you're going to do. Stop waxing poetic about whether it's the right thing to do. Find him and do what you have to. You're the oldest. It's your job.
I'll turn my head back to her and nod. You're right. I'll help Caleb through whatever it is, and I'll try to get stronger so I can get to him.
She gives you a smile and pats you on the shoulder. Much better. Word of advice? Loosen up. Get out of your own head.
She kind of chuckles. I'm trying.
I won't pretend I understand any of this. You being twice revived and whatever it is your family got up to. Frankly, I don't even know who your brother is, but...
She kind of tilts her head. Well, I mean, that makes sense. But do you know the Alephicare family?
No, and before you ask, I don't care.
She kind of laughs. It's fine.
What I do understand is siblings. I would do anything for Venka. I'd do anything for Caleb, too.
I would do anything for Lucifer.
Well, then you have your answer. You don't need my advice. You just need to start taking your own.
Thank you.
Alright, go have some drinks.
God, I need a drink.
Let the big kids do the thinking for a little bit.
I hope you don't mean Wes is, because there's not much between those years.
Gods forbid. Caleb's a lot like you. Gets distracted, caught up in his own head. I can see why Cousin Zephyr did what he did. If he hadn't, I think Caleb would have just spent probably years just gathering information and never doing anything with it. He needs somebody to push him.
Zephyr's good at
me. But while he's on the road, all he has is you.
I care about Caleb. As if he was my brother. That's why I'm here, to help him.
Then we're on the same side. Just do what he says, and if he's starting to get lost in the weeds, take your own advice, and help him find his way out. Or, give it a few minutes, and from what I've picked up, Zephyr will probably just wander off and get Caleb out himself.
I wish I could understand Zephyr.
She kind of looks to Zephyr across the bar, and
I'll follow her gaze.
I don't know if I understand him completely, but I think I'm starting to connect the dots. He came into the royal family before Caleb did. Caleb's technically older, but look at them.
Yeah.
Zephyr takes care of him.
Zephyr takes care of a lot of people that he actually cares about. He would be a force to be reckoned with if he would care more.
Oh, I think he cares plenty. He's just selective. It's smart. If you try to fight every battle in the world, eventually you're going to lose. He just knows how to pick them.
Yeah. Well, Nana always did say that I would make mountains out of molehills. Or
She
the other
kinda
way
gives
around.
you a smirk. I don't understand you people, but I think I'm starting to get it.
Being here is the first time I didn't get it at all. But being here, being closer to Caleb, I guess by extension Zephyr, in some way, I think I'm starting to understand. It's weird, but almost the same thing, you know?
Everyone's just different flavors of weird.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I think I've managed to pull you out of your head for a little bit. Try not to wander back in, alright? I'm not sure if my heart can handle things like this.
I'm sorry, I just...
Ah,
Sometimes you just need an outsider's opinion, you know?
I understand. It's not the
Thank
first
you.
time.
I'm sorry if I hurt you in some way with this, but
Jay shakes her head. Like I said, nothing I'm not used to.
it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. And I'm gonna walk away.
She gives you a nod as you leave,
Someday.
and
The thing about
alright. And one more time, Lucian, before we move on.
Oh no, I was just saying that I was just gonna walk away and
Your internet's a little spotty, sorry. Some time passes idly. Lucian returns to the bar, and you all share a idle couple hours. At this point, the sun is beginning to go down, and you guys are beginning to unwind and ready for heading to bed, when eventually slips into the main bar, and were we expecting a delivery, Papa? Just let them in, Fanka. Fanka gives a nod and disappears for a moment. You hear a door open, and Dimitri enters.
Caleb will immediately go over and hug him.
Dimitri gives a grin as you hug him, and yeah, I'm fine. I came right back, and I brought friends. He
Will immediately greet his friends.
And
Probably
Caleb,
similarly.
Caleb, as you turn, you do recognize one of them, but the rest of the figures are unfamiliar to you. Only one of the figures beyond Dimitri is recognizable as one of your old friends.
I guess you made some new friends.
Well, wasn't exactly looking forward to running a smuggling ring alone. Everyone, this is my crew. These are Caleb's mercenary friends. Tuco, what's his? Lucian.
Who's the one that Caleb still recognizes?
You recognize an old companion of yours by the name of Jane Irth. Looking to her, and description for those of you who do not obviously know her, you see Caleb looking at a girl who seems to be about the same age as him. She's dressed in what look to be very fine clothes, like a very fine, almost noblewoman's dress, but it's a little bit tattered, has a few patches here and there, some signs of wear and tear from her lifestyle. She's definitely from good money. Her eyes are a piercing dark blue, and her features in general are very sharp and angular. Her hair is dark and cut at about the shoulder, seemingly a self-done job. And she has her hands steepled together, and again, this very prim and proper manner. And while the others just kind of give you guys waves or just nods of the head, she actually gives all of you at the bar a proper noblewoman's courtesy.
I return it.
And Gale will give.
Is this one of
Gale,
Caleb's
what's this?
good
Will give a
friends?
bow.
Yes,
Who are you saying yes to?
Caleb. And what's his?
Oh, he's gonna return her courtesy with a bow.
Yeah, as will Tuco.
You know,
Since a good
the way
friend of his,
his
Caleb
dad
just
taught him.
will return it with a hug.
Yeah,
She's a
no,
little
Lucian will
surprised,
also.
but returns the embrace. Lucian?
It's good seeing you again.
Lucian will also give a proper noble woman's curtsy.
She looks over all of you,
You didn't hear
and
what Caleb
after
said?
a moment, and yes, many people are talking to me at once. I'm trying to get to them all. She gives all of you a nod after a moment and turns to you, Caleb, and signs out. I can see you finally made some proper friends.
You know how it is.
She kind of does a little, like, small chuckle, and kind of crosses her arms and looks at all of you kind of curiously as you guys survey the rest of Caleb's friends. Caleb, these figures are not familiar to you, but you see that Dimitri has assembled a kind of collection of odd-looking characters. At a glance, Tuco, you can see a young, kind of androgynous-looking kid with a newsboy cap slung over their hair. And from the looks of it, you can see they're hiding some of the length of their hair, which is only contributing to their kind of Polly Oliver appearance. They're wearing a very drudgy and patchwork coat over their dark
Cut
and
out.
deep. And oh yeah, sorry, my internet's starting to flicker again. If I go out, then just role play amongst yourselves. You can see, Tuco, that their eyes are dark and deep. The left side of their face is covered in burns.
And what?
Covered in what appear to be burns.
You can see Tuco kind of express
shit.
concern at their appearance.
Caleb was going to like, and
Yeah, Lucian
Hello
also
there.
has to come.
How you doing there?
who might you be?
They kind of jolt a little bit at being directly addressed.
Oh,
And Dimitri just kind of gives them a nod, and they're a friend of mine that I met while you were away. They've been helping me with some of the smuggling jobs.
They have a name?
They kind of look down nervously, and Dimitri kind of watches them for a moment.
Are you unable to talk?
They're just nervous.
Oh.
Just call them Tandem.
Tandem. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tandem.
Same. And who are your other
Pleasure.
friends, Dimitri?
Lucian, your gaze flicks to another somewhat androgynous figure, although you suspect they're male, but it's hard to tell. They have a mess of auburn hair that's, again, kind of messily cut. You imagine Tabedrans don't have easy access to barbershops,
Yeah.
so it appears a lot of the kids do their own haircuts.
yeah.
They're wearing very simple breechcloth clothing. It's almost like what a sailor would wear. Their eyes are a bright green, and their face is kind of slack and not looking at any of you. And more prominently, you notice that the sleeves of their shirt are tied off into knots at about the elbow and appear to be empty. You also notice they appear to be walking without any shoes on, just with their bare feet.
I don't have
Do
arms.
they look familiar, maybe?
Does the person look familiar? And yeah, they do have arms. No, not at a glance.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
I guess you could say he's armless.
The fact that he
Taylor
can
was like,
look at people is hilarious to me.
and who
Yeah.
might you be? Looking to the kid with no arms.
Yeah.
They look to all of you, and they kind of stare at you for a moment, and Caleb, you're about to, like, repeat the question, like maybe they just didn't hear you, whenever they respond kind of abruptly. Jerry.
Oh, Jerry,
Aww.
nice to meet you.
Oh.
And I think there's
Nice
one
to meet
more, right?
In the crowd, you can see that there are two more.
Okay.
One, a very pudgy child with kind of curved features. Appears to be male. Their head is this just messy kind of crow's nest of dark hair, but their eyes are this bright, colorful blue. And they carry themselves with this kind of bouncy energy. And they step forward and give a kind of imitation of Jane's curtsy. And
I imagine it's not quite right.
yeah, it's a little sloppy. Like you know,
Yeah.
all of you who come from noble families can tell just looking at her, or rather looking at him, that that sort of curtsy would have absolutely like gotten a dressing down if they were in court.
Yeah. I imagine my mother would not be pleased.
Oh, it just looked like fun, so I wanted to try it. Call me Rosie.
I like you, Rosie. You're fun.
Oh, really? Thank you. It's been a long time since I've seen a halfling. Where do you come from?
Oh, under your feet, my dear.
They kind of tilt their head and look down. You've been living in the basement?
Oh, yes. I live in...
I guess in a way they've been living in the basement of the world, I believe.
Oh my god.
I live in everybody's basement. Yours too.
Oh my god.
They look a little confused, but their confusion is kind of interrupted a bit as you see the final member of Dimitri's little posse step forward. You can see they're a girl with long brown hair tied off in a braid. They appear to be of elvish descent, and their eyes are a shimmering kind of almost turquoise color. Their skin is lightly tanned. They appear to be a light elf, similar to What's-His and Lucian. And very prominently, you notice that they are leaning on a crutch as one of their legs is missing and replaced with a kind of impromptu wooden prosthetic.
They're just a bunch of children.
Well,
Children have
technically,
small
I'm a
fingers.
child.
I guess
Children
that's
have
what the
small
mouth of
fingers and they're
babes.
very quick.
Caleb's like, and who might you be?
Ah! Call me Anna.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
So, Dimitri, there's been a bit of a development that might affect things. I don't know how much. Maybe you might have an idea.
Alright, this is by no means a good time. What's up?
Has anyone ever described to you how the king has a ring?
The signet ring, the ultimate prize. I've heard of it.
Well, Zephyr worked out a deal for me to get it. And so now I have it.
Oh. I hope you're not expecting me to bow to you, because that's not happening.
Oh, trust me, I don't want any part of that.
King Caleb.
Yes?
Well, just saying it because it sounds funny.
Well, in that case, should I cancel with Stanley?
No, I still need to talk to him. I just figured this might, maybe it helps him loosen his lips a bit if he's not forthcoming.
Maybe. Jane kind of curiously, you can, and I'll say Tuco, you notice that she has not taken her eyes off of either of them while they talk, and is like specifically looking at their faces, like kind of turning between the two of them,
Reading
trying to
their
follow the
lips,
conversation. Yes. And she signs out, shouldn't a discussion like this be happening in private? Dimitri kind of waves her off, and we'll be fine.
Well, from the sounds of it, the Queen's going to make a great big announcement about it, regardless of whether we want it or not.
Rosie kind of looks around curiously, and it's going to be all anyone in the rumor mill is going to be able to be talking about. We might actually be some of the first to know.
Yeah, so you got yourself some valuable information, don't you?
Dimitri kind of tilts their head at that and seems to be genuinely kind of considering the prospect. And
think about it. Charge a penny for a rumor. Or shilling, or gold, or whatever you will.
Not a bad idea. Jerry, no matter what the Queen tells you, I do not want this to see any word of this getting to anyone. You understand? If anybody asks, you send them to me and don't tell them anything else. Jerry kind of is just looking at the ceiling curiously and kind of tilting their head. And Dimitri kind of, Jerry, huh? Did you hear me? Yeah, I was listening.
Could Caleb insight that?
Roll insight.
that he was not.
Okay, I got a 19.
It seems like they actually were listening, but didn't, like, they just didn't think to indicate that they were.
I think it might be fine.
Jerry's our guy in charge of the rumor mill, so it's gonna go to him first once word starts to spread, see if the rumors are true.
So who does what in your little operation?
I carry the goods. Jerry is in charge of the rumor mill and the spread of information. He used to do graffiti, actually, whenever we first found him.
Oh, really? Any good?
Anything notable he did?
Other than annoy store owners and hurt his back, not a whole lot. But that's why we need ambitious thinkers.
How did the others fit in?
Tandem and Jane are our connections to nobles. We occasionally get valuables from their families.
Makes sense.
What family are you from, Jane? It's Jane, that's the proper one.
Yeah, and Jane, initially, as she's not looking at you, doesn't indicate that that she noticed, but Dimitri kind of nods his head towards you, and Jane looks to you and signs out. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah, I will sign the question for her.
She gives a smile, and I am the oldest lady of the Earth family.
Are they like
Is that-
a big deal?
Do I know this
You know,
family?
Caleb knows her. He probably knows something about the family.
Yeah, Lucian roll history, and I'll say what Lucian knows, and then obviously establish, Caleb, what you know from just knowing her personally, as your families actually knew each other.
Holy shit. Not 28.
All right.
Oh, I love this dice.
You're not necessarily intimately familiar, but the name itself does ring a bell. You recall that they were wealthy merchants in the Weiss and Sardom. But obviously, once Tabedra got founded, a lot of merchants kind of lost business, and the Earths were one of them. After they went bankrupt, they just kind of faded from notoriety, and you don't really know what became of them afterwards, although you did hear rumors that they went into debt to the Tabedrans trying to reclaim their status.
I imagine my father was probably not a big fan.
Caleb, you would know from living here and knowing her personally, that originally the two of you actually met because the Earths wanted her to marry you, since your family was starting to gain social traction, and it would look good for their status if a up-and-coming commoner who may eventually ascend into nobility was in their pocket, so to speak. But
then it turned out that Caleb had different interests.
Well, and even if that wasn't the case, your parents died shortly after the two of you met. But she did continue to pursue you, especially after you were accepted into the Tabedra royal family. But yes, at that point, your just lack of interest in her turned into just, not really being interested. And you know that her and Dimitri have always hated each other as a result.
I do have to admit, I'm surprised the two of you are able to work together.
Jane kind of puts up her nose and signs out. I'm a mature enough lady to put aside petty grievances for mutual gain. Besides, we don't have a lot of options.
Something the matter?
There's a reason that I don't work as a bagman anymore.
I heard the raid stop.
Well, yes, but you've been gone for a long time, Caleb, and we took some hits.
From who?
We were raiding a merchant caravan, and things went wrong. It didn't go well. And Jane and I are all that's left.
The others?
They didn't make it.
Who was it? Who was it that you were raiding?
We didn't know who they were. It was just some merchant passing through the area.
You remember anything at all about it?
They think for a moment, and it was a caravan from the Sardom. It was passing through the area. We don't know what they were doing there. Most of their trade is maritime, but our job's not to ask questions. And, well, we managed to take the merchant down with us, but like I said, we took some hits. So, I'm not interested in getting back out into the field if I can avoid it.
Caleb just kind of turns away for a moment.
Jane kind of looks forlorn, and even the other kids kind of look a little put out. Tuco, it's at this moment that it, as Lucian had pointed out, kind of settles in even further that, life out here in the forest is rough, and with everyone having to steal to make ends meet, even kids don't really have much of a choice. And yeah, Lucian, from what you know, even the Eretz, a royal, respected merchant family back in the day, when they were in the Tabedran's territory and short on money, here she is. She just lives here now as one of them. Her noble origins completely forgotten outside of her mannerisms.
You see like a very sad look on Lucian's face. She clearly understands.
Well, I'm going to make sure that our new friends don't have to go through that. If all goes according to plan, I think things will go a lot better for us all.
Dimitri kind of gives a nod and swallows and... But, luckily, we've made our operations a lot safer now. And if we're really doing this, I told Stanley that we'd meet up with him either tonight or tomorrow. Whatever works better for you. If you want us to surprise him, then to make sure we told him nothing.
I see no point in delaying. We should meet him tonight.
Jane looks over the rest of you and
Out of curiosity, did Stanley provide you the tip for that raid?
No, it was just an accident. We were out in the field looking for targets, and Miezdu, at this point, kind of watching the conversation from the bar, puts a hand on your shoulder, Caleb, and it's like I told you. Sometimes things just happen.
Oh, it is true. I do want to make sure that it is just things happened. That's all.
Dimitri clears his throat and... Point is, Jane, you were saying? Jane gives a nod and signs out. Are you all prepared to meet Stanley tonight? I doubt he'll give you trouble. He's a coward, but the royal family will be just upstairs if he decides to make a ruckus.
I mean, I would prefer it if I would be able to at least have a bit of a rest. I only need like 4 hours, but if you're ready to go, Caleb. Well, I'm here for you, Caleb. It's whatever you want.
If you want to rest, you can rest. I'm going to meet Stanley one way or another.
There's no way in hell I'm letting you go alone.
I won't be alone.
Yeah, he's gonna have the rest of us.
I'm coming.
All right. Jerry, send word. Let him know we're meeting with him tonight. And don't tell him anything about about the others being here. Understand? Jerry kind of just stares at him and then just walks out the back door.
Besides, if anything bad does happen, well, and I'll twirl my onyx axes. I think I got it covered. No, they're not lit. They're just they're not activated. They're just axes at this point. I think we got it covered.
Hey, does it come to that? I would like to not have to kill more important people in Tabedra. I already did one by accident.
You sometimes you just got to kill people to get a job done. You're about to be king. You got to.
And who'd you kill that was important?
The general. Remember part of that group we ran into?
No. I think you're remembering it wrong. It was me who killed him. You killed the people around him, and I singled him out. Remember? I had a bit of an issue with him at the moment.
Besides, mate, You're,
that
you're about
true?
to be royalty. You're gonna have to make big decisions like this sooner or later. I understand wanting to go for peace, but you're about to be a monarch. You've got
Trust
to
me.
get used to.
Oh, trust me. I already have plans that aren't going to be very nice to the Concord. It's just I
Well,
can't afford to have
join
any
the
other
line.
conflicts if I'm going to do that.
Just do me a favor, let me kill whoever this Kaloon imposter is.
Whatever. But anyway. When are we meeting?
We always meet at twilight. Once he gets word, he'll know to meet us in the cellar.
How long is Twilight?
I think it's like a few hundred pages.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Um,
yeah, you
yeah,
know,
depends. Sorry.
or not.
Opportunity knocked, and by God, I answered.
You didn't just like I saw somebody on Reddit say recently. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, are you quoting like the fucking Jurassic Park?
I don't know, maybe.
Anyway.
How long till Twilight?
And at
Mr.
this,
I hate semantics.
I give as good as I get. That's all I'm gonna say. And Twilight will be in a few hours.
You. Was it like 3? 4?
Yeah, about 3.5.
Okay. So I guess you got some time to wait. Catch up on.
So
what
Lucian
you're going
could,
through.
in theory, get her rest in.
Can't you do it in a short rest?
Well, I'm more looking to change some spells in case of combat.
Like, is that also a short rest thing, or is that just only?
No, I think it's just a long rest.
Oh,
No, it's warlocks that can do short rests.
no, short rest.
Can
They
do
just
that.
get their spells back. They can't change their spells.
Okay. Yeah, no, I need a long rest to be able to change my spells. I'm gonna ask Caleb. Caleb, while I'm thinking about what spells I'm going to prepare, other than healing spells, what are you wanting my help with?
Yeah, I think it shouldn't be too hard to get the information out of him, especially now that I had this ring.
Do you want me to prepare the truth spell for you?
I guess if you want, if it might be necessary, but I don't think it will.
I'll keep it on deck just in case you want it.
Pretty well.
Actually, yeah. There you go. Doesn't take that long to change your spells.
Wait, what?
Well, it says you have to finish a long rest.
They do?
Yeah, look, you can change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest.
There's like preparing a new list of better spells. I've spent there and
Yeah, that's what she's planning on doing, because
Oh,
elves
yeah.
don't really sleep. They meditate, so...
Yeah, I think they more say that because you know how it's like 6 hours of the long rest is sleep, and then 2 hours is like attunement and like attending to other affairs. So I think it's like, yeah, like basically that's just in case your spell list has gotten so long or powerful that you may not be able to change certain ones with the time they give you.
maybe.
But yeah, Dimitri nods and Anna, can you make sure Jerry doesn't get into trouble? Yep, on it, boss. And they hobble out of the bar.
So I'll say to the group, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go to my room and I'm gonna meditate. Just come and get me when you're ready to leave.
Very well.
Alright, and I will take my leave. And I do want to do one thing before I go down.
Okay, noted. We'll come back to you. Anyone else have any preparations they want to make before it is time to go meet with this Stanley?
just going to go over my weapons, pop a few more candies.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Dimitri sits alongside you, Caleb,
I'm
and
gonna note that like Caleb does like that thing where he gets like really close to him,
yeah, and the
just
two
like
of you,
leaning on him basically.
yeah, and the two of you spend time catching up on what's happened. Dimitri talks about that, yeah, after the merchant caravan raid went south, they changed their face, changed their name, and snuck back into Tabedra to reassemble their gang alongside Jane, and putting this new gang together from the misfits of Tabedra. They've managed to start running a pretty successful operation for themselves. Although you can tell that while there's not necessarily like tension in the sense of like people are disagreeing with the decision, but there is a tension, as you're not sure how much Dimitri has told them, but you do get the impression from the gang members who are still at the bar that there is some nervousness that they are effectively about to commit treason for you.
I mean, it's not treason if he's the king.
I have, technically I have the ring.
Yeah, if anything, they're just securing their place in his new kingdom.
And Dimitri,
Yes, in a way, it's only treason if we fail.
yeah, I'm gonna make sure I keep thinking about that.
Just don't fail,
No pressure.
Just don't think about it. Be positive. Positivity. If you're always worried about failing, you inevitably fail. If you're not, then well, you're less likely to.
That sort of thinking is how you get into trouble.
Yeah, we get into a lot of
live
that.
off of getting into trouble. Our whole kingdom is set up around getting into trouble with other people by stealing their shit.
The two of you spend a nice afternoon catching up. You sharpen your blades and ready your weapons in case things go south once again. Zephyr, content that your primary role in this has been taken care of, you just wait for more orders to be given now that Caleb seems to have something of a plan. Tuco, looking over your chemicals, making sure you've got potions and poisons alike. And Lucian, before you go down for a meditative long rest, what do you wish to do?
Think you know, Matthew.
Anything plot relevant?
Yes.
Yes. I think so.
You know.
But,
All right,
you know.
What's his mute mic, please? And all right, Lucian, if it's plot relevant, what do you wish to message Sundragon about?
Not Sundragon, Lucifer.
Okay.
No, I don't. So she's just gonna say, you don't have to answer me if you're busy. I have a way to get to you soon. But it's gonna take me some time. Just know that I'm coming.
There's a lengthy pause. You initially think he may have taken up your offer to simply not respond, but after a moment, he responds with a very simple 2 words. I know.
Instant panic. I'm gonna try to just meditate
Okay.
and prepare myself some shit.
with the arrangements
I'm just gonna
made.
pray. I'm just gonna pray.
Lucian, you pray
Shiva
to your...
guide me.
Yeah, you pray to your gods, and as everyone goes over their weapons, poisons, prayers, you all prepare for what's to come. When the twilight comes, this gang of misfit children will sneak you into the castle of thieves under the nose of the royal family and give you a meeting with this man whose connections seem to stretch pretty far. Black market, arms dealing, raid negotiation, and supposedly being one of the few non-nobles with an intimate working knowledge of the castle, its staff, and those who live within.
Oh, and I did 5 candies, by the way.
Alright, I guess roll 5 D100s.
Oh,
Yeah.
I already did. I wrote them down.
Okay.
Like we started at like 7:30. Like, come on. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it was a 9, a 73, 98 times 2, and 100.
Okay. As you all make your preparations, ready to meet Stanley Linz, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Did I get a long rest? So I can
Yes, you
play
get a
with
long
my spells?
rest.
Cool. Thank you.
We started at like 7:30.
I mean, we normally do.
Like only 2.5 hours.
Get here quicker and don't get distracted.
I could just be like every time we hit 7, and you're like, why didn't you get here quicker?
Oh, I know you would, but, you're going to be unhappy
I
either
could.
way, so.
I could do that, or I cannot. And just, not be that way, The same way with you, Matthew.
Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but do keep an eye on it for when it is eventually resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer. Check out our link in chat. I'm assuming those links still aren't working. We have a... okay. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions and Odd Tornado Productions on YouTube to catch up on what you may have missed. Check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. And if you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon, on Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/Odd Tornado Productions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. The TNO are capitalized to get live updates on when we go live, as well as anything else we're doing. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday campaign, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globe-trotting treasure hunters assembling the artifacts of the gods in order to assemble the key to the divine doorway. Thanks, everyone at home so much for watching. Thanks, everyone at the table so much for playing. And we'll see you all next week.